Another website that is a good one is cleanwatermn.org, and that has different sections for the general public, for teachers, and for stormwater educators, and for students. And so there's lots of things on this website too that are good resources for you to utilize and think about how you can use your talents to spread the message, spread the gospel of Blue Thumb, right? So here's the general public page, and there's all kinds of tip sheets and fact sheets and activities too. So I used to be a high school teacher. I used to teach German, of all things, one of my favorite things about working with people is tapping into their multiple intelligences. Howard Gardner's theory about multiple intelligences. How many people are familiar with this theory? Oh, some of you. All right. When I was going to school in the early 90s, it was there were only 7 intelligences, and now there's 8. They added a naturalistic, nature smart intelligence there, and there's probably, I don't know, there's probably hundreds. You can slice them and dice them any way you want to, right? But I love this concept because at first when we started Blue Thumb, we were thinking about it logically and seriously. What should we do? What are our priorities? And then we'd come up with these great to-do lists and these great partner meetings, and then, some things would get done, but honestly, not a lot, because it wasn't fun. And it wasn't, it was just, it was more work. So then I thought, let's take a different approach. Let's just have everyone do what they're good at and what they love doing, so it doesn't feel like work. My grandma was a kindergarten teacher, and she knew about multiple intelligences way before it was ever coined as a term. And she always said that, she never went to work a day in her life because she loved her job. And I actually feel the same way. I love it. And I'm having a hard time slowing down to even have my baby. So I want people to figure out what your talent is, what you're good at, and then work from that angle to hook people in, to spread, these concepts to people, to use your talents. It won't feel like work then. So some people are good at designing. They have maybe the spatial intelligence. This is a lakeshore buffer that was done in Arden Hills, Minnesota, and in the metro. And it's appealing to most people because it's kind of done in a cottage style way. I mean, everything's grouped. I really encourage, if people are doing these types of plantings, that you make them in groupings, because otherwise if you plant a seed mix willy-nilly and then you go out and you go, is that a weed or is that a native plant? How many people have done that? Oh yeah, I've done that. And I'm fairly good at identifying plants, and you still kind of are stumpers, and so this way, it's like Sesame Street. One of these plants is not like the other. And not like Sesame Street, the oddball goes, right? So I really encourage people to do that. For the physical people who are really good at just doing things, they're the worker bees. They're going to implement these projects. So you can have your cake and eat it too. Another thing to get, for the artistic people and to get images in people's minds, you don't have to have this mess of a looking shoreline. You can have your green grass, but then if you have a 20 to 50-foot buffer, depending on the size of your yard, or even a 5-foot buffer is better than no buffer. So they have that, and they have a little path that goes to their dock and accesses their boat. If you look across the lake, look at how horrible that looks. All that crap, these people have this gorgeous buffer. The people across the lake with the ugly shorelines, they get to look across and see this, uninterrupted shoreline. And just think, if everyone had these uninterrupted shorelines with these native plantings, you know, even with different species, it would just give you that serene look, that, you know, the up north feel. And whereas now the trend is rock and, you know, telephone poles, all kinds of crazy things I see as shoreline stabilization here. And it's really not attractive, nor does it help absorb the nutrients running off the lawns, right? And it might do something to control the erosion, this is true, but we all know that the nutrients are a really big part of the problem here. Also, doing things to make your planting look intentional is very important for public perception. Borders and edging are crucial. It makes it look like a garden instead of a pile of weeds. Especially, you know, if it's weeded, then it helps. So you do need to weed these plantings, especially for the first few years. And then after that, they can pretty much elbow out a lot of the weeds, but forever, there's nothing in life that's maintenance-free. Maintenance-free siding? Pff, come on, you still gotta do stuff, you know, maintenance-free furniture. I mean, there's nothing in the world that is worth having that is maintenance-free. But it is low maintenance. So we have a ton of materials that Barb was talking about, that they're cheap. Well, I sell them at cost. And the more we order, the cheaper they are, right? So if I go and get 20,000 brochures, you know, they're down to like a nickel a piece or something. So of course, working, you know, it's the economy of scale kind of concept here, right? And if you're doing an event, you know, I encourage you to become a partner and to try to get these materials. So what does it take to become a partner? Oh, here's some other materials. I got a cost share for my front yard. This is my front yard. I live in St. Paul. I have a tiny little front yard. There's nothing you can do out there. It's not like you can play a game of kickball out there or anything, you know? So I thought, I'm sick of mowing this, you know, 20 by 12 foot square, it's not even square, you know, area. And so I planted it into a native garden, and I think it looks intentional. I think it looks fine. Of course, I'm like, kicking myself, shoulda, woulda, coulda. I learned some things. I would, of course, do things a little differently. But I got this ugly sign, government sign from my, you know, I got 300 measly bucks from a conservation district, and I was grateful for it, actually. But then they made me put up this ugly sign, and I did it dutifully because I so believe in what I was doing. But I wanted something cute in my front yard. And so what I did is I developed this, this garden sign that most people would like to have in there because it's kind of artful instead of, you know, educational.